Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying the course so far. I've enjoyed reading your comments as we've been participating in the different discussions, the intro discussion and Latin America this week. I just wanted to jump on here and prep a little video on some upcoming assignments, and the one that I'm going to focus on today, as you probably read about in the syllabus, are the cultural learning log entries. As we said in the syllabus and alluded to in the intro video, this is an important component in our course, because it's going to be what allows you to connect personally with the content and the parts of culture that interest you the most. Okay, so let's jump in here and we'll go through it. As I explained briefly in the intro, these activities are based on some podcasts that I have done and continue doing with information on places that I've personally traveled in Latin America, and sharing the concepts of the 4Ps of culture, the products, perspectives, practices, and people. But I don't want to require everyone to do every single thing the same. I want you to be able to pick what you want to do. I want you to pick your pathway through this experience. So we'll just read the first paragraph there. There are 20 some odd countries, 21 countries, Spanish-speaking countries in the world. We're going to cover 19, 20 in our class here, but there's no way we can become masters on all of them, so I'm asking you to simply look at 10. So remember, after all of this, your goal is to complete 10 separate learning log entries. Okay, there are just a couple of rules I have. The first rule is that you need to select one podcast from each of the regions that are identified. And so if you come down here, you'll see that there are 5 different regions. There's the Southern Cone, El Cono Sur, the Andes, Los Andes, the Caribbean, however you pronounce it, and I prefer in Spanish, El Caribe. And we have Central America, Centroamerica, and then North America, Norte America. So rule number 1 is you need to listen to at least one podcast from each of those. So that's 5. Okay, when you listen to the podcast, you need to there are a couple of worksheets down here. And these are in Word documents, so you can download them and then type in them and submit those here in the assignment. So you'll use the top worksheet for existing podcasts, and you can tell which ones are existing and which aren't because it says existing podcasts. So in El Cono Sur, there are 4 existing ones. In Los Andes right now, there's just 1. So if you see countries that don't have the words existing podcasts, or in this case, Puerto Rico is there, the others are not, but in Central America, you'll see at the time of this video, there is an existing podcast, but coming soon. So for Costa Rica and Panama, and then we'll do one on Miami and maybe one of the others in here as well. But so for the ones that don't have existing podcasts or existing podcasts coming soon, you can select from those. And as it says here in the second point, you'll use the second worksheet, which is to help find content for a future podcast. Okay, and this may come into play and help us out with final projects. It will obviously help out with future podcasts that are created. Okay, so I'm not going to go through each one of these scenarios one by one. You pick the one which suits you. If you want to listen to 5 podcasts and help create content for future ones, then scenario 1 is for you. If you just want to listen to 10 podcasts and fill out the worksheet for existing podcasts, that's perfect as well. I do promise that there will be at least 10 podcasts by the time the last assignments are to be worked on, so you'll have plenty of content to go through if that's what you decide. Okay, an ideal scenario for me might, if I were you, and maybe what I would like to see, but again, it's all up to you, is maybe you listen to 7 8 or so of the already existing podcasts, and maybe you help do the content for 2 or 3 or 1. And again, that's entirely up to you. What I want you to do is explore the ones that most interest you. And as we discuss, as we've seen in the intro discussions, that there are many of you that have already suggested with which ones you'd like to connect. Okay, so once again, just because it has a podcast doesn't mean you have to listen to it. If you're going to do the final scenario, listening to all 10 or listening to 10, then you might want to start doing that test. But again, there are 2 of these logs due per module once we get into that, and then we'll finish that before the last couple of weeks, and then we'll work on projects. All right. Well, if you have any questions, please let me know. Muchas gracias y adiós.